Have you ever really thought about a parking lot? I mean, as
Yeah.
an actual investment.
Hmm.
I know. It sounds maybe a bit boring, maybe even, well, uninspired
Yeah.
compared to other things.
Right.
We usually think about, stocks or real estate like houses, maybe AI these days.
Yeah, the exciting stuff.
Exactly. But what if there's this surprising and really steady profit stream hiding right there
Mm.
in just, painted asphalt?
That's exactly what we're going to dive into today. It's this idea that behind the boring exterior, parking lots can be remarkably stable, profitable assets for investors who look closely.
Okay.
So our mission here is really to unpack why something that seems so mundane is actually a source of pretty predictable cash flow for some people. We want to give you that shortcut, to being properly informed about this niche.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so we'll look at the demand side, why it's so simple to run compared to other things. Location, 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 obviously.
Always key.
Always. And importantly, how people actually invest. It's not always about buying the land. And of course, we have to touch on the risks involved too.
Definitely intriguing. So
That's
let's unpack that first bit.
Yeah.
Why parking lots? I mean, it doesn't exactly scream growth or innovation, does it?
Mhm.
Why choose asphalt over, I don't know, the next big tech stock?
Well, it's true. It doesn't have the glamour, say, of a Silicon Valley startup. But actually, that lack of glamour is part of the appeal for a certain kind of investor.
Okay.
See, the core thing here is stability and persistent demand. Cars really aren't going away anytime soon, despite what you might hear sometimes.
Right. We still drive places.
We absolutely do. And in most cities, the need for parking spaces, it's actually going up, often faster than new spots are being created.
Huh. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, so while some investors are, chasing those big flashy swings in tech or crypto.
Roller coaster.
Exactly, the roller coaster. There's this other group, quietly, patiently, just collecting steady, predictable cash flow from these, well, seemingly boring parking lots.
So it's like, while we're all watching the shiny objects, others are just focusing on this really fundamental need. Where do people put their cars?
Precisely. It's about seeing the value in something every day, something ubiquitous that generates transactions constantly. It's a different investment mindset, really, prioritizing consistency over maybe explosive but risky growth.
Okay, I get the demand part.
Yeah.
But what makes them easier to manage? You mentioned simplicity. I imagine owning, say, an apartment building is full of headaches.
Mm-hmm.
How do parking lots stack up operationally?
Yeah, that's a really key difference, the operational side. It's significantly simpler. Parking facilities just don't need the same level of intense upkeep as buildings do.
Right. No tenants calling at 3 a.m.
Exactly. Think about all those typical landlord problems tenants you might have to evict: burst pipes, leaky roofs, constantly needing to renovate kitchens or bathrooms to stay competitive.
Yeah.
None of that really applies here, or at least it's drastically reduced. There are no leases in the same way, no complex HVAC systems breaking down, no interior decorating trends to follow.
It does sound much simpler when you put it like that. Minimizes a lot of hassle.
It really does. What are you dealing with? It's basically land, paint for the lines, some lights for safety, and a payment system. Maybe a kiosk, maybe an app, maybe cameras.
Pretty basic infrastructure.
Very basic. Maintenance is usually things like sweeping, maybe repainting the lines every so often, patching asphalt, relatively straightforward stuff.
And that simplicity must hit the bottom line, right?
Correctly. Lower operational costs mean, well, lower overhead, and that translates straight into higher net operating income, better profit margins. It's just a much more efficient way to generate revenue from a piece of land, in many cases.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Lower costs, less hassle. But look, you can't just plonk down a parking lot anywhere and expect gold, surely. Location must be everything here. Where do these things really work?
Oh, absolutely. Location is critical, maybe even more critical than for some other types of real estate. They thrive in very specific spots.
Like where?
Think high-density, high-traffic areas. Urban cores, especially downtowns where street parking is scarce or expensive. Near airports, that's a classic one.
Yeah.
Big stadiums, concert venues, large university campuses. Basically, anywhere people need convenience, where they have limited options, and where they're willing to pay a premium for easy parking.
It's that convenience tax you sometimes hear about. You're not just paying for space, you're paying for time saved, ease of access.
That's a perfect way to put it, the convenience tax. Think about airport parking, right? You might look at the daily rate and kind of groan.
Definitely groaned a few times.
We all have. But you probably still pay it because the alternative, getting a ride at 4 a.m., dragging luggage on public transport, it's just not worth the savings sometimes.
True.
So for the owner of that lot, that's reliable cash flow. Day in, day out, people need that specific convenience and they pay for it. It really can operate like a cash machine in those prime spots.
So owning strategic land is the key. But prime urban land, near airports, that sounds incredibly expensive. How do people even get into this without needing, massively deep pockets to buy the land outright?
Right. That's a really important point. And it's where the investment side gets a bit more sophisticated than just buying dirt. A lot of investors, probably most, aren't buying these prime lots with their own cash entirely.
Okay, so how then?
They use different strategies. A really common one is a long-term land lease. They lease the ground from the owner, maybe for decades, and operate the parking business on top. Sometimes it's what's called a triple net lease.
Where the tenant pays for taxes, insurance, maintenance.
Exactly. The operator takes on those costs. Or another way is partnerships. They might partner with an existing parking management company, sharing the revenue.
Ah, okay. So it's less about owning the physical land and more about controlling the operation or having a stake in the cash flow. Smart financing, really.
That's it, precisely. Using leases or joint ventures lets them access those high-value locations without needing the huge upfront capital to buy the land. It opens the door for more investors to get involved, maybe as more of a silent partner collecting their share. It's definitely not glamorous.
Oh, not glamorous.
But it can be remarkably consistent
Ah,
and accessible through different financial structures.
that makes a huge difference, opening it up beyond just, major real estate players.
Yeah.
But like any investment, there have to be downsides, right? Risks. What should someone thinking about this be aware of? It can't all be smooth sailing.
No, absolutely not. It's definitely not risk-free. No investment ever is. I mean, think about cities. They change, don't they?
Constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if the city decides to build a big, new, maybe subsidized public parking garage right next door? That's instant, serious competition.
Oh,
Or maybe the city changes its planning rules. They could get rid of minimum parking requirements for new buildings, which might, over time, reduce overall demand in that area. Zoning laws could change too, maybe restricting how you operate or what the land can be used for later.
these sound like sort of slow burn risks compared to a stock market crash.
Yeah.
Are there things that could happen faster? Or hidden problems?
That's a good question. While they often are slower, you could see things accelerate. Imagine a city really doubles down on public transit, adds extensive bike lanes, and heavily promotes ride-sharing all at once. That could hit demand harder and faster than expected in some places.
Right, a perfect storm scenario.
Yeah, and hidden liabilities, sure. Maybe you lease an old industrial site and discover later there's soil contamination that needs expensive cleanup, or new regulations come in requiring costly upgrades to lighting or accessibility ramps.
Oh.
And then there's the really long-term stuff like autonomous vehicles. If cars can drop you off and go park themselves cheaply miles away or pack themselves in super efficiently, that could eventually change the whole parking game.
So real risks definitely need due diligence, but it sounds like the nature of the risk is different. Less sudden volatility, maybe?
I think that's fair to say, generally. What often attracts investors to parking is that quiet stability compared to other assets. You don't usually see the wild overnight swings like a tech stock imploding.
Right.
The risks tend to be more gradual, more localized. Often you can see them coming, which gives smart operators time to adapt or maybe sell if needed. It really just underscores that every investment has risks. You just need to understand what kind of risks you're taking on.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really dug into this surprisingly interesting world of parking lots. The steady demand, the low-hassle operations compared to being a landlord.
Yeah, the simplicity.
The simplicity, right. And how location turns them into these, well, cash machines. Plus the clever ways investors get involved without necessarily buying the land. And acknowledging those risks, the city changes, the competition. It's definitely made me look at those asphalt patches differently.
Good. That's the idea. So maybe next time you're pulling into a paid lot, just, take a look around. Think about it differently. To you, yeah, it's just a place to leave your car, a small cost for convenience. But to someone else, it's a business. It's a cash machine running quietly in the background. And maybe, just maybe, that boring asphalt is actually a bit more exciting than it looks. Makes you wonder what other everyday things hold hidden value, right?